Okay, today is not going particularly well. I shall show you what has happened. Basically, I was so pissed off with the warping that I chopped everything off that I did yesterday, and I'm going to put on another wing or wheel arch section. Again, it's off a 5-door. It's that one I introduced a few videos ago. It sounds drastic, and it kind of is. But basically, I came down here last night and I looked at the waves and all the undulations and the shittiness, and I just thought, oh, fuck it, I'll just do it again. So this time I'm going to try and do it with less warping. I'm not going to joggle it for two reasons. One is I just don't have enough material, because these panels are both off 5-door cars, so you only had about 1.5 inches. The other one I joggled and then slipped underneath that panel and then welded it in, but now I've chopped it off. Of course, I don't have enough depth of material to set this behind. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I think the joggling was part of the problem. When I've welded wings on and stuff before, I've just gone down on top of that surface and just like bandaged it on top and then gone along the whole seam. And that's okay, because you're not actually melting that much metal together. When you've got the joggled ends, you've got a lot more material to get heat into to make a good weld, and that I think is what was warping this panel. The other thing I've noticed is just how much filler is in here anyway, and I think part of that has also been an additional problem, because I don't know whether it's making the metal behave strangely or whether it's just because it was warped anyway underneath. And as I've been sanding it, that bit hasn't got any filler on, that bit has. That is wavy and that isn't. So that's either me, that can't be me heating it, because I was welding down here. So I think basically this panel is a bit wonky anyway. So I've chopped off my wing I put on yesterday. The remains of it are down here. You can see the kind of penetration you get with that welded edge. I mean, it was shitty and horrible, and so that can go away and be forgotten about. I need to rebuild the wheel arch lip, because in a couple of places, as I was taking the flange off, drilling out my plug welds, which incidentally hold a lot stronger than factory spot welds, I already had to give them some beans. They tore out. So the weld didn't fail, it ripped out of the underlying material, and that was a hole made with the joggling punch tool. So I think it was a 5mm hole. So yeah, with the right heat and a 5mm pilot hole, you can get a really good plug weld that's stronger than a factory one. So that can go away too. So yeah, I'm not going to bother recording this because I'm still quite pissed off with myself for all of this wasted time and energy. I have so far done the crude trimming of that bit, and somewhere around here I had started making oh yeah, there we go, a new wheel arch lip to go in there first. So I'm going to put the camera down, bash through this and report back in a few hours time. I'd like to say a jiffy later, but in reality that's taken 45 minutes, an hour to put a new wheel arch lip in from there to about there, or was it a bit further on? Repaired some of the holes I pulled out along here, put another bit in there, and generally tidied it up, but with a bit of zinc primer. That'll be good to go. So I'm gonna now clean up this wing, try and pull out as many of these dents as I can, and then prep my new panel to go on. Got the rear bumper on again, just to make sure that this panel's going to line up. It looks like there's quite a big gap there, but that's how they are. It's the same on the other side of the car. So that's going to go in there somewhere. That I'll chop off probably about through here where I've marked that line. This panel definitely is wrinkled, and I'm pretty sure some of that was there just under the filler already. So maybe I didn't really need to do all this hard work again, but I'm doing it again because it will make for a better job eventually. I don't know whether 5 doors and 3 doors are different in terms of this profile. I think maybe they are, because the 3 door has this nice curve that comes in and then comes out to here, whereas obviously the 5-door doesn't have that. And unfortunately, because this wheel arch lip is off a 5-door, it's sort of sitting out proud rather than rolling in like that. So I might have to take this off, tap that flange in, and then sort of bend that in. I'm not sure. It would have been helpful had I had the right piece of trim to go in here, but it didn't. The car didn't have that with it. It was had some trim on it from a Rover Streetwise. But you can kind of see the problem here when you look down. That it is like quite a distinct V valley in there. But yeah, we'll just have to deal with that. I think regardless of what I do, it probably will still warp, and the body shop's just going to have to do a shit hot job of filling it. This wheel arch lip actually has a crisper detail around the wheel arch, which I like. So maybe I should have used this one right from the start, but never mind, live and learn. So I'm going to trim this off, sand it back, make it pretty, and then zinc primer everything. Put the plug weld holes along here. As I said, I'm not going to bother joggling this one. I'm just going to stitch it on top. Excuse the sniff. That's clamped in there. It fits really nicely with the bumper, with everything. That will be pushed back in when I weld it. That's the area which had all the warping, and you can see it's actually pretty good now. I basically went along with a wooden file and rolled it underneath, and it just popped some of those out. So that's good. So the plan is, oh yeah, that's the bit I was talking about earlier. If you roll it in, it fits quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is probably pop a weld in there, let it go, and see if it brings that panel out. If not, I've got access to that from inside the car, so I can actually push that bit out. We're talking, you know, a mil or so, so I really don't think it's going to be a big deal. The panel line fits nicely with the rear bumper when the bumper's in place. That's all good. So I'm going to make my final preps and then maybe put a couple of tacks in. Probably going to be quite a boring video, but what I'm trying to do is be a lot neater and methodical than I was last time when I was using the joggled panel. Already this is easier to weld. The weld is just sitting straight on there, going flat straight away, and there's been no warping yet, so fingers crossed I can maintain that and end up with halfway decent product. I've just heard from the body shop actually that the green Tourer is done. So that means I need to get this car finished and up to the body shop on Sunday. Oops. It's New Year's Eve, it's Tuesday, and there's quite a lot of work still to do. It's this and this sill, boot hinges, sill the other side, and a few other bits and pieces, so we've got to crack on. That, according to the clock, has taken 43 minutes and 20 seconds. And we've got wheel arch in much better than it was before. It's not perfect, and obviously it's going to need filler, but it would need filler anyway. And what's quite nice is that it's sunk in areas where you would probably want good filler anyway. So, and the detail line is better on this wing. So yeah, all in all, although it's been a ball ache to have to do all of that again, it was worth doing it, and I think it'll make for a better job long term. Right, I'm freezing my arse off because it is New Year's Day, and New Year's Eve, sorry, and it is cold, and this concrete floor is very cold, so I'm going to go warm up for a bit. Right, that I've literally degreased it and then toshed a load of acid etch primer on it, so that's doing its stuff. I'm going to now turn my attention to this sill area. I know I need to put a patch in here. I was originally going to cut all of that out, but it's quite a complicated folded shape, and actually when you look at the underside, that bit there to there is fine. It's just that little bit, even this bit's good, which is excellent because I can put my whole sill section in if I need to from there to there. I'm just debating how much to put in really, because when you get under here, from about there to the end, or to where I've chopped it off, is actually quite good. And because I can get inside the car where I took that trim panel out, I can look down from above and see that it's all okay. And I don't really want to disturb this if I don't need to, because as good as these repair panels are, they aren't quite the right curved profile. So the risk is that I could put this one in and then put another one in up here and get like a wobbly, wavy, shitty thing. So the less I put in, the better it'll look. It's just that compromise between getting all of the rust out and then making a neat repair. So I'm going to probably chop this bit out a bit more, and maybe that bit at the back, and see how much rust to find. And if I find more than I anticipated, I'll put a bigger section in, because this lip will actually go from the end right past that problematic area. So if I can get that to fit, that would be the neatest way of doing it. It's more welding and more time, but probably if I can get the curves right, it would be a nice repair. I'm babbling now, so I'm going to put the phone down and chop a bit more metal out. I've had something of a brainwave. I'm now down at the front end of the car. Hello. Right, in here I know we have rust and it needs to come out. So I'm going to use this as a test area. My intention is to fit almost a full length of repair panel sill in here. Probably not coming right up to this arch lip because I don't need to. But certainly to start with, I'm going to chop all of that out all the way along there, pick off all the spot welds and just see how bad the rust is, and then that'll give me an indication as to what that bit might look like and whether or not I need to actually mess about with it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll just cut along here, put some pliers in, and then basically rolled the sill along. First impressions, it ain't that bad. That big old stiffener, it's just going to be surface rust on there, so that'll be fine to weld back onto. So yeah, it really is just this outer skin, so I'll get all of that out of the way. Still trying to decide how far up to chop. This bit I chopped out previously, and in hindsight it didn't need to go that big. So yeah, I probably only need to chop about that much out. So that's what I'll do. So as the smoke clears, I've made lots of incisions along here where the outer skin sill thing went onto the stiffener. And I'm just going to pick and chisel and grind all of them off. and then clear all the metal back to shiny steel. There's a detail line there which runs all the way through that one, so I could join a patch in from there to that detail line, but what I've decided to do, just because I think it'll be neater, and basically this is offering next to no strength now. This is quite a stiff little 3-door car, and it's all dead floppy anyway, so I don't mind chopping a bit more out of there. So that's what I'm going to do, chop that out and then put one massive patch in. I say patch, it's going to be a nicely fitting piece of replacement sill skin. Most of the strength is actually in that bit, so that's the other reason I'm happy to do it in a big section. So yeah, I'm going to pick all this off and then do more prep stuff. Well, it was going really well until I was using the strip and clean wheel, the fiberglass wheel, to clean off the under seal and paint off here and off there, and it got wedged in here and twisted everything and knackered itself. So now what was a beautifully nice crisp straight line to go back onto is now wavy with a big dent in it. That's super annoying, because with my crappy little panel beating tools I haven't really got an easy way of getting that out. But it's now dark, it's very cold, and I'm pissed off because I'm about a day behind schedule, probably more, and this still isn't going particularly well. So I'm going to go get some Hydrate 80 rust neutralizer and put it on the pitting corrosion that I've found in here. This reinforcer is like girder thick, you can feel it in that sort of hole there, just how thick it is. So I'm not going to go silly grinding it out, I'm just going to treat it, kill it, and then maybe give it a bit more of a die grinder action tomorrow, just to really get that out. And then, yeah, as I say, I'm going to go call it a night.